Aha, gotcha. We're talking about carriers today, and we're not even using a carrier gameplay. Get baited. No, anyways, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Chili Games. We are going to talk about carriers and what I think of them. Obviously, if you have seen anything from me, you know I'm not the biggest fan. And this is a Suzuka campaign in the back, campaign. I'm sorry, guys. It's a game. And it's very boring, and it's why I'm not using this for an actual Suzuka video, because I had this before the video that I posted yesterday, but it was very boring, but we do get more damage in this one. So have fun with that. The real topic, carriers. Do they suck? Are they good? What's going on with them? In my honest opinion, I think carriers could become good for the game, but I hate them currently. And it's not really that, and I will be the first person to admit that I am not good at them, so I'm getting that out of the way. It's not, I'm not gonna trash on the class because I'm not good at them. I believe I could get good at them, I just haven't played them enough. And I'm admitting that now as well, but the biggest thing for me is, to me, the gameplay just does nothing in terms of wanting me to come back and play it. I think the gameplay for carriers is immensely boring. And not only that, the other big problem that we have right now for carriers is they are extremely undervalued in the scoring of the matches. I know some really good carrier players, arguably the top 1% carrier players in the game right now, and I trust that in that opinion and their opinions to the fullest. I would bet money that they are the best. They are complaining about how little, reward you get for these carriers, and I feel like that's a pretty... I feel like everyone's been saying that, so it's not really going to come to a shock. But again, that goes into the problem of, why should I play it? They are pretty difficult to get the hang of. I haven't played them, but even when you do well, the game is like, nah, you didn't do that much. So it's kind of like, why? What is drawing me there? And on top of that, for me personally, I don't think it's fun to fly a plane around in this game. It's boring. Half of the time, your ship is at no risk. I like playing cruisers like this and Suzuka because I am on my toes the entire game most of the time, except for now. But this is a ship where if you get spotted and you're in a bad spot, you're clenching your cheeks the entire time. You're not doing that in a carrier. You're not risking your ship. And the last game that I had, it was the Ryuzo, the Tier 5. I actually had 0 damage. I had 2 fighter planes killed from dropping my fighters. What basically happened was I was solo. I supported a friendly destroyer. He was spotted. I was hovering around him because I knew that the cap was being contested. We spotted the other DD, and I dropped fighters over my DD because the enemy carrier was targeting him. Started to rack up the plane kills, then go on to, and I'm not dropping anybody at this point, I am simply just trying to spot the DDs, because if we lose this cap, we lose that side. So the next 5 minutes are me trying to drop these DDs, and it's not going very well. The enemy Mayhem that I was trying to drop was actually very good at evading, and on top of me not being great at dropping, but these 2 destroyers were spotted easily for a minute and a half apiece. That is insane. Now, the reason why I got pissed off at that game is because nobody was shooting them. Absolutely nobody, and what ended up happening is me getting torpedoed. That's beside the point. I realize how strong carriers can be. I think right now, a good carrier player in a good division is the strongest division combo right now. It is free game. If you have a carrier supporting a division mate and a destroyer, that friendly destroyer can just go into cap circles pretty much uncontested. If the enemy DD decides to try to advance, your friendly carrier in your division is going to spot them, and all the advantages on your side. I think carriers in division play can be the deadliest divisions out there. However, this is what I think about them. I equate their gameplay to basically, for those of you who have played Battlefield 1, and there's many games that kind of have this. If you remember, the machine gun class received mortars. Now, mortars were hilarious. They were great, but after a while you get bored. Essentially, you are safe in cover, good lord. You're safe in cover. You aren't necessarily in danger unless you just really put yourself in a bad spot. But you're essentially doing damage without, you know, risking yourself specifically. It was fun. Mortars were hilarious for, you know, a couple days. But then what happens is you're kind of just like, why am I doing this? This is boring. This is a first-person shooter, and I'm on an RTS screen launching nukes over the corner. Even, no matter if it is effective, the gameplay to me just got boring. It's like, I'm not playing Battlefield 1 to go into UAV mode and drop mortars on people. I'm playing this because it's a first-person shooter and all that kind of stuff. I feel the exact same way in carriers from the offensive standpoint. Now, I will admit, I do not want carriers to become offensive powerhouses, because then that would be just awful. We see that on PC. That is not what I want. But since you are severely underappreciated from the scoring on the base XP for actually doing your job and spotting, and you are not the best damage dealer, what is there for a carrier to actually do? And if you're in a division, that's different because you can contribute to helping your division mates out. But in the grand scheme of things, the gameplay is unbelievably boring to me. And that's partially the reason why this is not a carrier gameplay. I do not want to come home and spend my free time sweating my balls off to get 4th or 5th place in a carrier. You know, some of the best games that I have seen base XP wise from a carrier are middle 2000s. Most people that I believe are good say the average for them is around 1600, 2000-ish plus. You know, it's just, you are not rewarded. And they said in the live stream today, actually, that they will be buffing it. However, they did mention that it's not going to be the biggest boost. I would expect anything, but I think they said nothing above 10%. So that's a step in the right direction. This is just basically a talk about carriers now, and initially how I feel about them. It's just, if you're looking for carrier gameplay, I apologize, it's not going to be me. I really, really do not want to come home from school or whatever and be like, I want to play carriers. It's just, for me, it is just not there. There is no desire for me to want to play that, and it's just, bottom line, not fun. I just flat out don't like them. I think they did mention that the German carriers could be coming in the summer, which is kind of cool, but if the initial problems with carriers not being rewarded for what they are actually in the game to do, which is being the ungodly spotters of the team, then for me, there's really no point. Do they belong in the game? I don't know. I really don't know. I think we had a good formula with the cruiser, battleship, and destroyer meta. There was obviously things that was wrong with it. There was obviously things that were broken in the meta, and it was getting a little bit stale, yes. But carriers right now are not fun. And the games where you are in a carrier game, they are usually extremely passive, and they almost always go out to 15 minutes. I kid you not, the gameplay has been terrible in carrier matches. You'll see, you know, people, there has been multiple games where it is halfway through, there is no caps taken, and you'll see half of your team out in no man's land trying to find a carrier that has 7-kilometer detection. It is, at the current state, breaking the core values of the game, in my opinion. There is, and this is to be expected, it's a new class, you know, it's just overall growing pains, and we're going to have to get through it. But obviously, I've pretty much said all I want to say about them. I am at the tier 5 on the Japanese line, and I honestly cannot get the motivation to actually want to play them, because I feel like they are very undervalued in the scoring, and the damage output is boring as well. The gameplay to me is boring. I'm just kind of reiterating everything I've already said. So that is my opinions on carriers. Do they suck in a division? No, they're extremely strong, but even then, the carrier player will probably have a less than eventful game in terms of his individual impact. The impact that he has in the overall game could be pretty high, though. So that is basically it from me on the carriers. Again, if you are wanting carrier gameplay, it is not going to be from my channel. I assume at some point I will boost to the Shikaku. I have almost 800,000 global XP, but even then, I could easily pull the trigger and get it, but then what am I going to do? I'm probably going to play the carrier like a couple times and then get bored with it again and just not have fun. So until things change from the carriers and they are actually rewarded and we actually get spotting ribbons, spotting damage, all that kind of stuff, I highly, highly doubt that I will ever get invested into the class. And that's kind of just my thing on it. They don't ruin the game in terms of all the other classes, in my opinion. However, the gameplay is a little bit stale currently with them, and it gets a little bit worse with them right now than what we previously had. So I want to know what you guys think on the matter. I don't want to harp on it for too long. I've said all I wanted to say about them. As you can probably, if you're still here, you probably see why I'm not really picking this game for the Suzuya to actually talk about the Suzuya, because it was your standard, very passive matchmaking, and you know, it was just me farming a bunch of targets. This ship is really good at this. We got a little bit carried away with this Massachusetts here. I was just trying to go for as much damage as possible. I'm risking my ship. I don't really care at this point. The game is over. So, not much to be said about this individual game in itself. It's just your pretty cut dry, spammy cruiser type of deal. I really hope one day I will get invested into carriers, because they are another class. You know, there's a lot of content, and I believe there's a lot of stuff to enjoy about carriers, but currently there's just, for me, nothing. And I think a lot of people are kind of in the same boat. So for now, I will be messing around with different AA values and kind of just going back and forth between the ships that I already played, really, and just learning how to play around carriers from a surface ship kind of perspective. 233,000 damage in this game, nothing too special. Really just farming, like I said. So pluses from this update: Hotspot, the new map at tier 7 and 6, tier 6, 7, and legendary, I believe, is amazing. I love that map. It is my favorite map in the game. I've only played it like 4 times, I believe, but I think it plays really well. And it's honestly just a beautiful map too. So I am going to kind of just cut that out here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you like the video, please leave a like. It really helps the algorithm get my videos out there and help the channel a lot. And if you do like the content, then please subscribe. That is going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all take it easy. I will see you next time. Peace.